Don't be afraid to say, what are Somalians known for? When you know the answer inside your head, but you're too afraid to say it.
Well, I just don't know if it's based on a stereotype or if it's
You,
not.
you know
I'm
what
not
they're known for. You said it.
What,
Pirates. Why'd you question your thought?
I'm not that smart.
So you're asking, how do you gain credibility and trust? Well, you say a fact for a fact.
This is a really bad argument, and I think everyone watching can see that it's a terrible argument. Instead of talking too much about why it's bad, I want to point out that this isn't new to the conservative movement.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Why so often in modern political discourse do conservatives and reactionaries go for this talking point that is so clearly bullshit? Here's a thing that you know of. The fact that you know of it means that there's some truth to it somehow. You know that Somali pirates exist. When you think of Somali, maybe the next connection is pirate. That's piracy.
That is piracy.
And I think what makes this an argument that people that are racist but don't want to say that make is that, well, it is grounded in some level of truth. And that truth grounds it somehow, because when Mr. Channel 5 comes back and says, well, I don't know many Somalis, blah, 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 this fucking kid can say, well, but you know that. You know there's pirates. Everyone knows there's pirates because... yes, Somali pirates are a thing.
To go and talk to them. I'm not scared. I don't want to go out and say things about people if I don't know the community. I gotta go to the restaurants. I gotta go
I asked
to
you the
some
question.
of the dances.
What are they known for? And I knew you knew.
To discover the true roots of ISIS, one could consider centuries of Sunni-Shia warfare that in the mid-2000s culminated in the brutal subjugation of Sunnis by a U.S.-backed Shia Iraqi government. Or one could just say ISIS formed because there are bad guys out there.
This is called epistemic immediacy. That's what Nick Shirley's doing here. It's this idea that what you perceive, what you see, what you experience is a piece of knowledge in itself. The experience that you had must be true because you had it. And it's important to realize that we're talking about this Somali daycare scam in Minnesota that Nick Shirley made a whole documentary about that's already been ripped to shreds.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
And Nick Shirley is not a real journalist. He never has been. And what's happening right now is Channel 5, the real journalist, is pushing back. And they can say, well, I don't know that many Somalis. I didn't grow up around that culture. It doesn't matter. Immediacy. You know it. What do you feel in your bones, in your heart? What do you think of when I say Somali? There you go. This is your experience, and it does equal truth. And that's so thin. So if it's so thin, why do these people keep coming back to it? There's a core thing that comes in with epistemic immediacy that is the quiet part that's said with all of this. It's elitism. Of course it's elitism. The idea that you know something, therefore it's true, means that you don't have to continue searching for truth or even another idea because you know it. And when you put that on a broad scale, like, the Republican Party.
Focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. The reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys.
If you're looking at pop culture or just general discourse to decide how you feel about something, what you're doing is you're looking to white men, basically, in America. You can look at a statistic about black crime, and you can look at the white politicians talking about this issue, and you can say, well, there it is. I can see the graph. That's it. As if human perspective and choices can be plotted on a 2D graph, and that's the end of the story.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit...
And where this kind of supremacist thinking immediately falls off is just when you look at other people. All the guy had to say was, well, I don't know that many Somalis. And all of a sudden it's, oh, you're just not saying what you know to be true.
You know what they're known for.
I guess it's like scared of being racist, right? Like you don't want to say this thing about them because it paints them in an unflattering image, and you don't want to be racist to those people, even though that's the truth. But it's not the truth. You just assumed that it was the truth because that's all you know so far, and you're unwilling to look at the groups or the people that know what the hell they're talking about. Supremacy. And making shit up, of course, doesn't just exist within the Republican Party. It exists across all humans. Where I think this comes in so heavily for conservatism is it implicitly pushes and reinforces a traditionalist culture. Were women happier when they weren't allowed to have jobs? Were women happier when they weren't allowed to vote? Were they happier when it was incredibly hard to get separated from an abusive husband because you're not allowed to open your own line of credit? Make your own opinion, I guess, but the people that are saying that they were happier, the people that have been saying they're happy all along, are the same people that's been saying all their shit all the time. It's the white guys. And yes, I understand the irony, but what you're doing is you're grafting your experience onto the world, seeing that experience and saying, well, that must be true. My wife seems pretty happy, therefore she must be happy because I am putting supremacy on my experience as someone in the majority. And that's how this God's way, that's how things are, don't tread on me mentality exists as much as it does because it's easy to look at something and say, you feel a way about that and you should just listen to that. You shouldn't explore this topic at all. That's just how it is. Completely ignoring or disregarding the fact that it is the way that it is because culture is the way that it is. Media, TV, movies, music, your neighbors, your friends, all of that influences how you see the world, what you think about the world. You're taking your experience on that front and the experience of the general majority, you're taking this experience of the general majority that kind of creates this zeitgeist opinion about a race, a gender, a sex, whatever. And now that it's there, well, you see it as true.
I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did. I interviewed the guy who was debating him while it happened. And I mentioned a bunch of times that it was horrible and it represented like one of the worst pivots in American politics ever.
And I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.